And the fundamental comes down to these things: capacity on the left, demand in that blue line, and what the gap might be. Coping where they're equal, not coping where there's a big resilience gap or a gap that sort of moves in and out. And on the other side, going up towards that breakthrough where really you have surplus capacity. And what do we mean by capacity? That's three things. The time to do stuff, okay? The sense that you actually have the time. Secondly, the mental capacity, the ability to be able to get perspective, to understand what you're about, get prioritization, start to problem solve. And the third is the skills to be able to actually do the task in hand. So those combination of things makes up capacity. And we are actually really looking at the finessing of how do you balance those two things up, demand versus capacity. We have discovered in our data analysis the following. When demand is over capacity, when there is a resilience gap, stress is way up. 80% rise in stress. 80%. We also have in there a 33% drop in energy. Now that matters for your productivity. Overall, we can see when demand is over capacity, productivity is under threat. So that's demand, capacity, energy are those drivers of productivity and performance versus well-being and engagement. And again, under threat. Under threat. We found this data shocking. This is the average across just under 900 data points. It's not the same, and there are nuances depending upon the resilience levels of your people. But just that average data is already a big red flag across us to say, hey, we should be looking at this stuff and acting on it. Proacting on it, not waiting until it becomes an issue and where we have to trigger EAPs. Let's get into this beforehand. Now I'm going to take you through the implications of different ranges of that demand capacity against all these drivers. So productivity, demand capacity and energy, and the well-being and engagement drivers on the other hand. So hold on to your hats. Here we go. Our baseline, when demand equals capacity, okay? The bad news, when demand starts to increase above capacity, so there is a resilience gap, we start to have dips. Energy dropping 14%, stress is up by 22%. If we really drive the demand and we're putting far more pressure on our people, it increases again, okay? We're talking about a kind of 25% drop here, energy-wise. It's massive, yeah? Really significantly different. The upside is quite the opposite. If people feel that they have a surplus capacity, just even a little bit, sleep is better, well-being's better, contentedness, and you could read engagement for that is better. And then when it really is like, oh yeah, I really have got space and time to kind of plan forward, think about what I'm doing, and then healthy boundaries to cut off from work and go home at night, boom, totally different. We've got surplus now. And surplus capacity means innovation, connection, creativity, collaboration, really being able to see proactively down the line and smooth out the bumps of all the challenges that may be coming. This is where you get disruption from. This is where you get reinvention and transformation from. You do not get it where demand is over capacity. So this is really significant data.